doesn't make any sense with what they're telling me because they're supposed to give you an appointment regardless. But
Okay.
okay, so do this because I don't
Sure.
know what I'm gonna have to start yelling at some people, and I really don't
Uh-oh.
want to.
Okay.
All right. Well, because it's confusing for you,
Yes.
confusing for me and the landlord because they're telling us one thing and then they're not doing that for people. And
Okay.
it's okay if I'm not going to give you an appointment, but just tell me that's not what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And then I could deal with that.
$238.72. To the best of my knowledge, the unit was kept fit and habitable for its intended purpose. The defendant is not a minor, nor in the military, nor otherwise incapable of attending today's hearing. We would respectfully request a default judgment as to possession only, as I do show that this was a posted service.
Yes. Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested with the writ issued in 10 days.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. We'll see you this afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was it. Okay. Yes, we will. All right. Take care. Haverhill on Clark versus Sylvia, a Mary Brewer.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
Good morning. Do we have them?
No,
Mary Brewer. They are not here. If you'd like to take default, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. At this point, due to the defendant's lack of appearance, a plaintiff moves for a default judgment for possession. Rent to retain is currently $3,854. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total redemptive amount of $4,024. We would be seeking a writ to issue on May 4th, 2026. No money judgment is entered, and to my knowledge, the defendant is not a minor, incapacitated, or in the military. And then, to my knowledge, the unit has been kept fit for its intended use and purpose, and in compliance with the local health and safety codes. That was a mouthful.
All right. Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested. Writ to issue in 10 days.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Haverhill on Clark versus Eric Britton.
Hello, Judge. Good morning, Judge.
And good morning, Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
All right. Good morning. And what is plaintiff's claim in this case?
Plaintiff is alleging $899.90 in arrears due and owing through the end of this month. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total redemptive amount of $1,069.90.
$1,069
and
20 cents.
90 cents, 90.
90 cents. Okay. Thank you. All right. And how are you intending on getting that paid?
I've been paying all month, so I just gotta. I'm doing Uber Eats right now. It'll be paid by the rest of the month. Can I explain this a little bit briefly to you, so you know why I'm behind?
Well, I don't. I'll go ahead if you want briefly.
Yeah, my security deposit, it was moved out of my rent balance at the end of February, so I had to pay like $1,500 on top of my $1,300 rent in March. So that's just what put me a little behind, but I'll be back caught up before May starts.
Before May 1st?
Yes. I owe $900 currently.
Okay, well, you owe that plus costs, so you owe about $1,070 right now.
To the court, or?
No, that's all to the plaintiff, all to your landlord.
Oh, all right.
All right. So within, say, this next week, how much can you get paid? How much can you get? Yeah.
7 days.
Can you
pay? 800.
Okay, so you can get 800 sometime this week. I'm just going to put by the 30th. Okay. Now the problem's going to be is that your May rent's going to click in.
Yeah.
Okay, so your balance, you're going to pay part of this, but then your balance is going to kick back up by the time we come back for the next hearing.
Right.
Okay. And counsel, I don't have another date until May 8th. I'm not here on the 1st for second hearings. So I'm going to have to adjourn this to May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. Sir, that's an in-person hearing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to get the 800 in and then whatever else you can get in, and then we'll come back and we'll figure out where we are and see what we can do on this. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. And I will note that my manager with Haverhill is also in the Zoom gallery in case any of the defendants have any questions or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
All right. You do the same. Oh, just give me
Yeah, there are some people on at 8:30. Your next day is
one of them. Haverhill on Clark versus JL Brewer.
Good morning, Ronnie Haddad for the plaintiff.
They are not checked in. Brewer. Okay, the only thing I'd indicate, counsel, I'll let you proceed with the default. I do have information from Hawk that they were waiting on employer verification to determine their eligibility for assistance. But I would let you proceed with the default in this case.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Plaintiff does move for a default judgment for possession. Currently, rent to retain is $2,606. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total redemptive amount of $2,776 due and owing through the end of April. We would be seeking a writ date of 5/4/2026. No money judgment is entered. And to my knowledge, the defendant is not a minor, incapacitated, or in the military. I would just ask my client with Haverhill if they are aware or if they have received any correspondence or communication from Hawk as to what amount would be they were willing to cover.
They probably, counsel, I might be able to answer that. They probably have not, only because this is the beginning stages, from my understanding, where they're getting information from the tenant to determine whether or not they're eligible.
Okay.
So they probably haven't reached out to the landlord at this point.
Okay, and then my question to the court, Your Honor, in this event, although we are entitled to a default judgment, if the defendant was to file something and indicate that they are working with Hawk, is the court would the court be inclined to set the default judgment aside with proof from Hawk?
It depends on how they would do that. What I might do is, rather than set the judgment aside, if it looks like funding is coming through, I may hold off on signing the writ to give them time or something along those lines.
That's fair. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Haverhill on Clark versus Jennifer Carthage.
Good morning, Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
Jennifer Carthage.
There she is. Okay, hello.
Hi.
All right. How much is owing on, what is plaintiff's claim?
Yes, Judge, I'm showing rent to retain currently in the amount of $2,510. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total of $2,680.
I wonder why is it
All
the
right.
2,000? Because on my paper it said 14.
All right, your paper, you mean on the notice that you received for court?
Yes, it said 1410. Why is it?
Okay,
25?
and if you look at the date that was signed, that only takes you through March.
Okay.
So April's now up due.
Okay. But I wanted to know
All right.
where the other 1,000 came from.
I'm sorry?
The other 1,000, where did that come from?
What's your monthly rent?
It's my
Your monthly
rent is
rent's about
13.
1,300.
Yeah.
So at the end of March, you owed 1,441 according to the complaint. Your monthly rent is about 1,300. That's going to take you around $2,750. And I'm assuming there might be a payment in there. So that's good. That April is what brings the number up, man.
Okay.
That is correct, Your Honor. It looks like there was a payment on April 2nd, 2026, but before that payment, there was, let me see, actually. My ledger is very light. I'm not really sure if I don't want to make any misrepresentations to the court, but it
No,
looks like there was a payment made, and then that brought the balance to 2,400 and, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, Judge.
it's
I cannot read
Sure.
it. And then April late fees, and so that brought the balance to 2,510, which does not include the attorney fees and costs. And I mean, this is going to be in adjournment anyway. If the defendant has any questions, she's obviously more than welcome to go to management and have a conversation about.
absolutely.
Okay. And
All right.
I also I filled out for DHS too, because I currently lost my job, so I'm trying to figure that out too.
Okay.
My job
So here's the
closed.
thing. You don't, between now and the next date, you don't have anything you think you can pay. Is that correct?
Well, my next check will come until next week on Wednesday. Well,
All
so
right.
it come Wednesday night, so I won't have anything till like Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. So that's the 30th. How much do you think you can pay?
I could pay 1,000.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Here's what we're gonna do. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna put that you're gonna pay that 1,000 by the 30th. I'm gonna adjourn your case out to May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. Okay.
Okay, you said
What?
May 8th.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
May 8th.
Yeah, May 8th. That's 2 Fridays from today. Okay.
Okay.
And what I want you to do is, what you can do is you can get to the management, try to see what you can work out, if anything. What I'm
Mhm.
also going to suggest you do, have you called Hawk or?
No, I just filled out for DHS and I have an appointment on the 27th with them.
Okay, so you filled out something for state emergency relief?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, just so that you know, how many people are in your unit?
Just me.
Just you? All
Mhm.
right. So that would be about $400. $410 is the most that they're going to pay on that.
Okay.
So don't think it's the name is a bad name when they say state emergency relief, because it sounds like they might cover everything. That's not going to happen. Okay.
Mhm.
So I say that so that people don't think that that's out there. What I would like you to do though is to contact Hawk. Do you have that phone number?
I can look it up.
Oh, well, why don't I give it to you? You got something to write with?
Yeah.
Because by the time you look it up, you'll forget to call. And then I'll be staring at you asking why you didn't call.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, okay. All right. Here's the number. It's 734 961
Okay.
1999.
Okay.
Okay. So call them. Now, one other thing, in your packet, there's a rental assistance form. Okay. You need to fill that out and put particularly your DHS tracking number that you have on that form and submit that to the court by Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
Honor, if I may, I don't mean to interrupt the court. I'm glad that the court actually brought this, shed some light on this. I just want to manage the defendant's expectations. I did hear her say that she's currently unemployed. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't start my next job until the end of the month.
Okay, so I just wanted to manage the expectations, Your Honor, because unfortunately the caveat to state emergency relief, even though it is deceiving, the title, the name state emergency relief, is that the defendant has to be working, has to have some type of income coming in, otherwise she wouldn't qualify. That is the caveat.
No, she said, right.
my
She
job
said
closed.
that hold on.
Okay.
She said that she was going to start a new job.
Right.
So they're going to, both Hawk and DHS would be making a sustainability determination. So I don't worry about that. But my understanding is she was starting a new job.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. So we'll see you May 8th, 1 p.m.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Haverhill on Clark versus, is it Tyler Jackson? Probably pronounced that wrong.
Good morning, Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
Oh, there she is. Trying to get unmuted. Just relax. You get unmuted. We'll wait a little bit. No, you're not unmuted.
Okay,
There you
there we
go.
Sorry, good morning.
What's your good morning? All right. What is plaintiff's claim?
Plaintiff is alleging $3,127 in rent to retain, attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total of $3,297.
All right. All right, Ms. Jackson, how are you intending on getting that paid?
Yeah, so I've been just paying every 2 weeks as I get paid $1,000 for the last 2 months. I've been trying to catch up that way. I've also reached out to DHS as well. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them. It's been about
All
a
right.
week.
All right. Let's break that apart a little bit. How many people are in your unit?
2.
2.
Mhm.
Okay, so that you know, DHS, that's going to be about 520 that they cover. Okay.
Anything helps.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I just want to make sure that you understood that. Okay. So
Okay.
that's the first thing. And then you can pay $1,000. When can you pay that by, you think?
Yeah, so I can pay that by next Friday.
By the 1st?
Yes.
Okay, so pay that to the landlord on the 1st.
Okay.
Okay. Your monthly rent is around $853.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll be, I guess we'll be staying steady is best way to kind of put it. Okay. So
Okay.
with the DHS, you need to fill out the form that's in your packet called a rental assistance form. File that with the court by next Wednesday.
Okay.
All right. What I also want you to do then also is call Hawk. Okay.
Okay.
And see whether or not you can get some assistance to get yourself sort of to ground zero so that then you can catch yourself up. Okay. That balance has to be under 3,000 by the time that they pay. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do this. I'll adjourn it out to May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. Okay.
Okay. 1 p.m.
Yes, ma'am. Do you
Okay.
have Hawk's number?
Yes.
All right. So give them a call right away so you can get yourself in line and get an appointment and see what your eligibility might be. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. You're welcome. You have a great day.
You as well.
Judge, I must add that I'm thoroughly impressed by Your Honor's knowledge of the amounts that are covered by DHS. I might have to call the court and ask, and you know, in my other cases in different districts.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think
I'll
any
tell
other
you-
judge. I don't think any other judge is aware of any formula or whatever that's used by DHS to calculate the amounts that are covered.
Gosh. What's that again? I'm brilliant. That's why? No, I'm kidding. Here's here's what I'll do. We have a chart here, and I'll just have my staff send that over to you.
Okay, that sounds good. I appreciate that.
Right? Okay. Haverhill on Clark versus Kristen Russell.
Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
And I think he's here. There he is.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Russell.
Hello.
All right. What is plaintiff's claim?
Your Honor, it looks like this is just a residual balance of $114 that does not include the attorney fees and costs of $170. So he does have a total of $284 with the attorney fees and costs. This is a situation where if he just pays off the balance of $114, we'd be inclined to dismiss the case.
Sir?
Yes. Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. All right. When do you think you can get this paid?
Well, probably in the next couple months. I did have an unexpected medical test that wasn't covered by insurance, so that's what got me backed up. But my previous balance was paid off through, I think, SOS Community Services.
Gotcha. Okay. So, so you've already used Hawk and got that paid off. And so now you're in a situation, are you currently working or
I'm on disability, fixed income.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Your monthly rent going forward,
Uh-huh.
are you going to be able to get that covered or?
Yeah, I have been able to pay, I think I don't know if it's 2 or 3 months. I have been paying, but there was a, no, I guess paperwork snafu between the landlord and RPI management who hold my Section 8. And
Gotcha.
yeah, it took a while to get that completed, so.
Okay. So what's your monthly portion, sir? 279?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. With the circumstances that you're in, you've got to get this back balance paid, but it sounds like to me you're going to be trying to pay that in addition to what your monthly rent is.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay. So what I'm going to adjourn this out to May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing, sir. Okay.
Okay.
But in the interim, why don't you contact management or the attorney's office and see what type of, if you can just cover this in the next, like you said, 2 months. Sounds like in your mind, you kind of worked it out as to how you can get this cleared.
Yes.
See if you can work that out. They can do a conditional order dismissal and be done with it. Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next or in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Haverhill on Clark versus Myra South.
Good morning, Ronnie Haddad for the plaintiff.
She's here. Oh, did she disappear?
Hi.
There she is.
I'm here. Hi, Your Honor. Good morning.
Hello, Miss South. How are you?
Whew, I've been better. Not great,
Okay.
but I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
What is plaintiff's claim? Let's see where we are.
Yes, Judge. I'm showing rent to retain in the amount of $5,995.78. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total redemptive amount in the amount of $6,165.78. I do need to note for the record, Your Honor, that it has just come to my attention that there are some damage charges that might be assessed before the next hearing date for some damages caused by the defendant's, I believe it's the defendant's son. I just wanted her to be aware of that because this number that I am stating on the record is likely to change at the next hearing.
Okay. All right, Miss South. What happened? Were you? When do you think you can try to get this paid? I mean, what do you have in mind?
So, Your Honor, this has been a long process. It originated when I lost my job back in November. Long story short, I've been working recently with Friends Indeed, the Disability Network, and who else? And then, so I applied for help through, it's called Men's and Women's Working for a Change, as well as Ypsilanti Thrift Store, to see if they can help because Hawk would not pay or would not help until the balance is under or 3,000 and under. I've been making monthly payments of about $2,000. So I mean, I still plan on paying my payments every month. I make a payment of the rent itself by the 5th, and then I make an additional payment of $350 on the 25th. So it's just been a work in process. I just got another job. I'm going through that. I'm waiting on my fingerprints and everything to be sent off because for my massage license. So I'm praying that I get my job within the next month.
South.
Yes.
I got you, and I realize I asked an open-ended question. All right, do me
I
a
know,
favor.
and I will keep
No.
going. I'm stressed.
I
You're
know,
gonna
it's okay.
you're gonna hear it all.
I was hearing everything you said. Just take a breath, okay? It sounds like you're trying to get yourself through this. It sounds like there may be some other charges coming. We'll deal with that, but let's figure out how we can try to at least try to see a way to get you to ground zero if we can. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the first thing is in the packet, there is a rental assistance form.
Yes, sir.
You need to fill that out, get that to the court by this Wednesday upcoming. All right, with that information. All right.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to adjourn it out to May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing.
Yes, sir.
So now, by that point in time, you said you pay what, 2,000 or what's your rent on the 5th?
So I pay my actual rent by the 5th, and then I pay an addition of $350 every 25th. So by
Okay.
that time, I'm gonna pay my payment tomorrow, and then I'll have Meg's rent paid by the 5th. So it will be done by
Okay.
the time
I
I
got
see
you.
you.
Your
So
Honor, if I
let me
may-
just
if
let
I may,
me just go ahead.
I think she's referring to a previous conditional dismissal. So she has to understand that conditional dismissal, although we did not file, I believe we are under new management. We have a new property manager. So the previous property manager did not keep up with all of those. So we weren't able to reinstate the case. So we had to file a new case instead. So the previous
Got it.
agreement pursuant to the conditional dismissal has now expired. And so now we are in court for this new balance. So whatever payment arrangement she had before, we obviously, whatever agreement we enter into is going to be the new agreement. So
Okay.
she can still continue to pay additionally if
Yes,
she needs to, just
that's
to
what
pay down the balance.
yes.
But that payment arrangement no longer applies.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
because
you.
that's passed. Okay. So Ms. South, you're gonna pay $350 on
I plan
the
on doing it
20
tomorrow. Yes.
All right. So I'm just gonna mark my file that you're gonna pay that on the 25th. And
Yes,
then
sir.
by May 5th, you're gonna pay what, your $1,700 or about $1,800?
Yes, sir. 1712.
All right. All right. So May 5th, you're gonna pay $1,712. All right. Let me ask you this. Did Hawk take your application?
No, they pretty much halted. They said I have to get either a promissory note or I have to pay that balance down, pay the 2,800 down before they assist. So yeah.
Okay, I got you. So they want some agreement that you reached with the landlord or something that
Or yes. Or
would
by
allow
another.
the amount in excess of the 3,000 to be paid in some fashion.
Yes, sir.
All
Or
right.
I have to
So
have the
why
help
don't you,
from, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. So
I was just,
if you can talk with your management and see if they're willing to do that. I realize you've had a previous conditional order dismissal, but at least the worst they can say is no to you, right?
right.
And then we're back in the same boat. So reach
Okay.
out, see if you can work something out along those lines. That way,
Okay.
at least maybe $3,000 can come in, and then you can figure out how to get this other part down. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I'm trying, and I mean, I'm doing, but thank you for that. I appreciate it.
It's okay. I realize you're trying. Sometimes we try and we look up and we think we haven't gotten anywhere, but you're at least trying to keep yourself from going further in the hole. And that sometimes that's part of the process additionally. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Haverhill on Clark versus Jerome Taylor.
Yes, good morning, Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
All right. And there's Mr. Taylor. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I think I'm okay. All right. What is plaintiff's claim in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, we are showing rent to retain in the amount of $2,770, attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170, for a total of $2,940.
All right. And so he is directly under 3,000. I have a note. He had an appointment with Hawk on April 21st. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
And they're waiting on documents from the tenant and the leasing office. And so they would go ahead, sir.
I submitted all the documents I needed for Hawk with
Okay.
them, and same with the DHS. So I'm just waiting back to hear from them.
Okay, so you also have a DHS. All right. So how many people are in your unit?
Just me.
Okay, so that's about 410 of this amount. How much your monthly rent is around 1310? Is that right?
1335.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. I need you to fill out in your packet the rental assistance form. Put what agencies and other things that you're applying to on that form. Get that to the court by next Wednesday. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing is, so here's what's going to happen. By the time you come back before me, the balance is going to be over the 3,000 cap for Hawk. Okay, so my question to you is, between now and say the 7th of May, what can you pay?
Between now and the 7th, I can pay at least 400 on the rearage. And with the May rent coming up, I wouldn't be able to pay that in full until after the 12th with the current income
Okay,
status
all
I
right,
have.
so I get how you did your math. All right. Oh my goodness. Everybody, I have to stop for a moment because waving at me in the screen is Judge Slay. The famous Judge Slay is there, the FOC. Hello, Judge Slay.
Hi, Judge. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. I heard your voice as I was walking by, and so I had to stop and say hi.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. And I will say, Ms. Mazur is with you, and I'll just take a moment. The setup of the friend of the court being in our landlord-tenant hearings was your idea. It is working out fantastically for everybody, and you deserve all the credit in the world for making that happen because it's helped us with a number of cases. So
Sarah is
thank you.
fantastic. Thanks for letting us be a part of your docket. And as Hannibal Smith would say, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, indeed. I'm still
Go
trying to
AG.
get Miss Mazur as a Maryland terrapin to take down that Michigan thing in the back, but she won't do it.
Just hold her in contempt.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to interrupt.
Not a problem. Take care. All right. So, sir, here's what's going to happen. I get what your math was.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to be looking at the sort of full number. So if that makes any sense to you. So what I've got right now is you're at about 2940. Your monthly rent, you said it was 1335 or something?
Yes.
All right. So 1335. And so when I do my math, if I'm doing it correctly, I'm looking at coming into May, a total amount of about 4275. Got that? And I'm not including any late fees that might kick in. I'm just looking at that number. And in order for Hawk to pay, which is going to be the big balance, I've got to get this number back to the $3,000 range.
All right.
You okay? So if you're going to pay 400, and then that you'll pay that by when, sir?
I can pay that by the 30th.
All right. So pay that 400 by the 30th. And then you said by the 12th, how much do you think you can pay?
The 12th, I can pay the full 1335 for May.
Okay. All right. I
As
got
long
you.
as the rearage gets taken care of, I should be okay going forward.
So Your Honor, may I
Right.
suggest that he just pays May's rent so we can keep the arrears below that?
Right. That's
But
what
I
I'm
want-
trying to make sure that happens, but he won't have that until the 12th.
Correct. And then late fees, I know they will tack on by then. So
I got you. I get it. I'm not great at math, but I think I got it worked out in my head, kind of. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll adjourn you out until the 8th. Let's make sure that 400 goes in. All right. And also that to see, I think if you got your documents in, then they're going to be waiting on documents from the landlord. Let's see where Hawk is at that point, and then see what we can arrange to try to get you all caught up. Okay.
My client
So
I'm
go
sorry, Your
ahead.
Honor. My client does indicate that I did ask if she has been in communication with Hawk for a request of documents, and she indicates that to her knowledge, she has not received anything from Hawk. So I would just ask that the defendant just maybe communicate to Hawk that our management is not aware of any documents requested, because if that's going to be the delay, I would rather just get ahead of it beforehand.
Yeah, no, I got you. And so we'll do that, and then Anne, because since we don't have a person here, which I'll say again is just a travesty, but can you send an email maybe to Amy or somebody just indicating that the landlord is indicating they haven't heard anything? So this note they sent us doesn't do me any good if the landlord doesn't know.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So do that, Mr. Taylor. And then what'll happen is we'll see you on the 8th. We'll see exactly where we are, and hopefully we can get this all taken care of somehow. All right.
all righty. Thank you.
Thank you. Haverhill on Clark versus Lewis Wall.
Bonnie Haddad for the plaintiff.
Okay.
How you
Yes, he
doing?
is. Okay, Mr. Wall. Oh, there you are. All right. How are you, sir?
Good.
All right. All right. What is the amount owed?
I am showing rent to retain in the amount of $3,925, attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170, for a total of $4,095.
All right. All right. Mr. Wall, how are you intending on getting that paid?
One thing I want to address is my paper says 2,500.
Okay, so I bet you're looking at the complaint, and right, your complaint was at 2,500, but when you go down to the bottom, that's through March.
Okay.
So your April rent has kicked in.
Okay. All right. I could
Okay. All right.
to ask about if I could approach those same services like the emergency fund and see if they can assist, and the other SOS fund.
Right. Okay. Have you applied through DHS yet or no?
No, I reached out to another one at a shelter service, and I think they were just telling me that at that time I didn't qualify because it was I explained about my medical bills that were backed up and said it was something else, you couldn't use that for their service.
Okay, so have you called Hawk yet?
Yes, that was what about medical bills that didn't apply or wouldn't help out or whatever.
Okay, so they're saying they can't help you?
Yes. Well, it couldn't go any further when we started talking. When we have they asked me a couple quick questions and said they couldn't go any further.
Because of medical bills?
Well, I was explaining my whole situation, how I got into it, but then they looked at, I just didn't qualify when I gave basic information.
All right, let me ask you this. Are you working right now or
Yes.
have any source? You are?
Yes.
Well, I don't. All right. I hear what you're saying. That doesn't make much sense to me, but
Well, if I can go into it just for a minute, is that they were taking a large amount of medical expenses out of my check, and that's what slowed down what I was receiving. And I can show that statement, and that's what I was trying to explain to them, but they said it didn't hold any merit to assist in that area.
So were they saying that really that you wouldn't be able to afford the apartment if they're taking this out?
Yeah, because it was at that time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you this, because this doesn't.
And I can show the documentation too.
No, I got you. So you haven't applied yet through DHS?
No.
All right. I want you to do that, okay? Do that right away. It may not be much. How many people are in your apartment? Just you?
Yes.
All right. So but that's still 400 we can maybe get. And then you've applied through SOS. I'm a little bit concerned if they're saying that because somebody's deducting something from your check, that all of a sudden creates a problem. But I mean, I get it on one side. All right. So, did they give you any other agencies or places to apply, like MAP or anything like that?
No, I think they might have did the same when the DHS was on, when I think they said that day. There was no other ones that I know about.
Because there's another program. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to call Hawk back, and without going into great detail on it, the other program has a higher income threshold, but their sustainability also, I think, is affected by that. So call back and ask Hawk, are there any other programs you can apply to?
Okay. Will do.
Okay. And then between now and the 8th, is there any amount that you can pay over to the landlord?
Yes. Between 9 and 8th, I can pay 15.
You can pay 1,500?
Yes.
But okay, so if I put you can pay 1,500 by the 7th.
Yes. Before the 7th.
Okay. So get that paid to the landlord.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If at worst, if you do that, we'll click away at that balance.
Okay.
And then if we can find something else, maybe Hawk could click in. I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Or try to anyway.
And then I do have all the supporting medical documents if anyone needs to see how they started.
I'm sorry?
I do have the supporting documents to show how the check got affected and when it got hit.
No, I got you.
Okay.
I believe you. But let's see what we can try to work out. So I'm going to adjourn this to the 8th of May, 2026 at 1 p.m. Okay, that's an in-person hearing, and I know you know where we are because you're in our access point. All right, so you just come down to the courtroom the next time.
Okay.
All right, and we'll see where we are, but make sure to get that 1,500 in, so then we can see where we can go from there. Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. 2 quick questions. What was the amount that you gave out at the bottom? Was it for what?
It was $4,095.
$4,095. Okay, all right. And also, does anybody know anybody who's hiring? Anybody? Anybody?
Well, you know what? I appreciate you asking. I'd love to have a job service here, but I don't.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Wall. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Hey, somebody might have said yes. I got to give him.
I mean, I give him credit. It takes courage to ask that question.
It does
under these circumstances.
All right. Haverhill on Clark versus Morgan Ivory.
Yes, Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
Gotcha.
Morgan Ivory, they have not checked in. You may proceed. You've previously been sworn.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Plaintiff moves for a default judgment for possession. Rent to retain is $6,435. Attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total redemptive amount of $6,605 due and owing through the end of this month. We are seeking a writ date of 5/4/2026. No money judgment is entered. To my knowledge, the defendant is not a minor, incapacitated, or in the military.
Judgment to the plaintiff, that's by default for possession, redemption amount, any amount requested with the writ issue in 10 days.
I'm sorry, may I interrupt 1 second? I'm so sorry.
Yes, please do.
I think maybe something got missed in the emails. That case was supposed to have been dismissed. I apologize.
Morgan Ivory?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
that is,
you better. Okay, thank you. All right. So I will
we will submit a dismissal.
scratch this out. Case is dismissed without prejudice. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Haverhill on Clark versus Rico Crawford
Rania Haddad for the plaintiff.
and Shanice Tripp.
Morning.
Oh, good morning, Strip. How are you?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
I think I'm okay. Thank you for asking. Nobody ever
Yes.
cares about the judge, but that's okay.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. All right. What is plaintiff's claim?
We are seeking rent to retain in the amount of $5,441, attorney fees and costs in the amount of $170 for a total of $5,611. That's $5,611.
All right. All right. Miss Tripp,
Yes.
how are you intending on getting that thing?
Okay, so I filled out the SCR. So that was on the 22nd. I'm waiting back for that. And I contacted Hawk. So, I have to have the balance down to like 3,000. So, and I have Friends Indeed also. So I'm waiting on all three of those, things to see what Friends Indeed want to do or if SCR will help. But then I will also have 1,800 by the 3rd of May.
All right. Okay, so you'll have 1,800 by the 3rd,
Yes.
and your monthly rent is about $850. So that's great because that'll
Okay.
maybe take away 1,000
Okay.
effectively on that amount, and then we got to figure out the rest of that. Okay,
Okay.
with the SER, how many people are in your unit?
4.
4? Okay, what, you and 4 kids? Is that?
It's me and 3 kids. Well, 2 adults. I'm sorry, 2 adults because he's
Okay,
20. I'm
all right.
sorry.
I
He's
was gonna
20.
say,
He's 20.
yeah,
2
no,
adults and 2
I'm not
children.
good at math, but that didn't
My
work.
son. So it's
No.
2 adults and 2 children. I'm sorry.
2, okay. So 4 people?
Yes, sir.
All right. But I may make an order that she's got to go home and count the people because I don't think she
Tired.
knows.
Look,
Listen,
see,
all right.
I'm at work. I'm on 16 hours. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. Okay, so just so you know, the max award that DHS will give you about $740. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the first thing on that.
Okay.
And then, so that's the maximum amount. You got to get with Hawk, you got to get under 3,000.
Yes.
And then you have to see what Friends Indeed may do.
Yes.
Okay. So you contacted Hawk. Did
Yes,
they give you an appointment day?
No, she took all my information. She talked to me and my son, and she just said because of the balance, if I could get that 2,000 paid, then she said that they will be able to give me an appointment to help because their cap is 3,000. So that's why I contacted Friends Indeed. But if they can't help me,
Okay,
I'll have
so-
1,800. So
No, I got you, but
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense with what they're telling me because they're supposed to give you an appointment regardless. But
Okay.
okay, so do this because I don't
Sure.
know what I'm gonna have to start yelling at some people, and I really don't want to.
Okay.
All right. Well, because it's confusing for you,
Yes.
confusing for me and the landlord because they're telling us one thing and then they're not doing that for people. And
Okay.
it's okay if I'm not going to give you an appointment, but just tell me that's not what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And then I could deal with that. But let's do this. Get the 1,800 paid by the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
See exactly then where the figure is. We ought to be about 1,000 down from where we are now, not
Okay.
including late fees that click in. There's a form that came in your packet called a rental assistance form.
Yes.
Fill that out. Put your SER tracking number on there and that you contacted Hawk and you're waiting on Friends Indeed. Just put that on the form Submit that to the court by Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And then I'll adjourn this out to the 8th of May, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing, so somebody will need to
Okay.
be here.
1
Okay?
p.m. I'll be there.
Okay, and then we'll figure out exactly where we're gonna go from here. At least by that
Okay.
point, we'll have the number stagnant and figure out how maybe we can get to that $3,000 cap. All
Okay.
right?
Thank you so much.
And you're welcome. And on that other email that you're sending, can you just add on there that the court's understanding is that appointments would be set regardless of where they were, that they would at least be an appointment after the initial screening, particularly where there's a representation that she may be able to get under the 3,000. That makes sense? Okay. I just want clarification from them because I think you're just telling people stuff. All
And
right.
just as a side note, Your Honor, this case was filed in the name of Rico Crawford as well. So in the event that we are going to facilitate some type of a resolution document, Rico Crawford needs to be present in order to sign off, and Ms. Tripp cannot sign off on his behalf to any resolution document. And I just don't want him to be adversely affected. I'm going to assume that he's her 20-year-old son.
Yes. Yes. He's in school, so that's why he couldn't come today.
Okay.
But I understand.
He's in school?
Yes.
Is that what he told you? Or you know that?
He better not be lying. I don't need nothing extra. He better not be lying.
I got one of those. I don't know if he's in class, but I get you. All right.
I'm about to check his location.
Yeah, oh boy. I didn't want to get him in trouble. I'm gonna blame it on counsel. Tell him the reason you're checking is because of something she said.
Yes,
all
I'm
right?
gonna definitely tell him
okay.
that.
That's okay. We're the bad guy anyway, so.
No.
All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Tripp. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And then I have Haverhill on Clark versus Hitchings, Haverhill on Clark versus Taylor. Those matters are dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice.
Yes.
And
thank
I
you, Judge.
think that may be it for you.
Oh, well, it's been a good morning. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, it has. All right.
Thank you. We appreciate you as always. Have a good one, everyone.
All right. Take care. We'll send that form over to you.
She already
you'll
did
have-
actually. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any comments as to how easy it is to us. I mean, I'm thinking there's like a chart, just like for the what was it, the COVID relief, Sarah,
Oh, no,
Sarah
it's
funds,
nothing
how
like that.
Yes, no, this is a little less simpler, but yes,
This is just really simple.
We'll go with Judge Simpson is brilliant. That works.
Pardon me.
Okay. Hold on one moment.
Oh, this might be a defendant.
Ma'am, you're trying to get our attention?
Hi, yes, pardon me. I just want to say, please excuse my tardiness. I had a time at 8:30 today, and I was wondering if I could get a
What's your name?
My name is J.L. Brewer.
That was one of the defaults, yeah.
That was a default. And do I have the file?
It is.
It's Mr. Dodd's case, yes. Hang on one moment. We're going to have to.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Your Honor, I do not have the file.
We don't have the file. All right. So here's what I'll do without the file. I have a note. This was the one I had a note from. Did you get in employee verification or employer verification information over to Hawk?
I filled it out, but my manager, it didn't get there in time. So I have the papers, everything filled out with the number, email, and verification. It just didn't get there on the specific day.
Okay.
Everything.
So you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Have you sent it over?
I was gonna take it up there actually.
To SOS or to Hawk?
To DHS because, well, actually, I'm sorry. I applied for two. I applied for DHS and Hawk. Hawk, I talked to Miss Alicia yesterday, and and she sent over the verification, but she needed his email. So I sent over the email yesterday. And she, so that was yesterday. So we were trying to get it done before today, but it didn't happen that way.
Okay, it's okay. I'm just trying to make sure. The last note I have is that they were waiting on employer verification to determine your eligibility.
Yes. So
Has that now gotten that information that you were to provide, or that's gotten to
yes,
SOS?
yes, since as of
All right.
yesterday.
And then DHS you've also applied to.
Yes, I applied to DHS as well. They said because they needed verification, but I did the verification didn't get there in time, so I have to reapply. So I was going to reapply to see whatever they can get.
Okay, all right, I gotcha.
So Judge, I'm just
Okay,
gonna make this easier for everyone. The plaintiff withdraws their motion or their default judgment for possession and will accept an adjournment for 5/8 at 1 o'clock so that she can get the documentation.
that's what I was gonna vacate the judgment I entered in any event. And so, ma'am, I'm going to adjourn your case over to May 8th,
Okay,
2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person proceeding.
okay,
I'll need you to look in your rental packet, or the summons packet that you have. There's a rental assistance form in there. I need you to fill that out with information on your DHHS application, as well as your Hawk information. Fill that out, put that on there, and file that with the court by next Wednesday.
yes, sir.
All right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
see you
so
then.
much. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're gonna grab. You'll take care of the file. All right. All right. I think finally that's it, Mr. Dodd.
I
All right.
believe so. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Take care.
You do the same.
Tracy Group LLC versus Megan Davison.
Here I am, Judge. Give me just a second. Woohoo. Your Honor, there was an email sent this morning, and I assume you're looking at it right now.
I am. Yeah, okay. All right, I understand it, but I'm presuming you're wishing to proceed with the default.
I am, Judge. With this,
All right,
this matter,
raise
we've
your
been.
right hand.
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I was going to say other right hand, but you got it. All right.
I do, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
I'm familiar with, I am Dan Shemke. I am attorney for the Tracy Group. I am familiar with their books and records. And as of today's date, the current amount of rent due is $17,600. There's an additional $275 worth of late fees on top of that for a total due and owing of $17,875. I am not, and my client is not concerned with service fees or court costs at this point. We think it highly unlikely that we're ever going to get paid. And for that reason, we'd like to proceed based on the balance due and owing of $17,875.
Well, except for the fact, counsel, there's a money judgment. Oh boy. Okay.
Judge,
here's what I'm going to have to do. Hold it. They're going to get the adjournment in any event because you've got to correct something. I'm going to adjourn it to my next date, which is May 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. I'll consider this the first hearing. Counsel, you've got to correct the complaint. I've got a notice to quit, which is a non-payment notice to quit. I have a complaint, which is a termination. They don't match.
I get it, Judge. I get it. And one day.
But the good thing is you can amend the complaint. So rather than having to start all the way over, you can amend the complaint to a non-payment of rent complaint, and then we can proceed on the 8th.
Do I have to file anything other than the non-payment of rent complaint as an amended
No,
complaint,
you
Judge?
you could file the non-payment of rent complaint, just indicating at the top that it's an amended complaint, and then effectuate service somehow. So then,
All right,
all right.
I will do, Your Honor. Thank you very much. As always, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. You take care.
Take care, Judge. See you next time.
Yes, sir. NKSK Properties LLC versus Ashley Peterson and Asia Riggs and Asia Funderburg.
I do.
I'm sorry. I'm Ashley Peter. Those are my names, Brian Riggs here and Asia Jean Thunderbird, and they are not present.
Okay, but you're
because
here.
the landlord said to speak to me. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm currently at work. I'm sorry.
No,
My name is
you're
Ashley
okay.
Peterson. I'm doing okay. How are you, Judge Simpson?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Can you
All
still
right,
hear me?
and-
Because I've been getting lost connection this whole time.
No, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Who's here for NKSK Properties?
Good morning, Honor. Majid Kahala.
Okay. So are you an attorney, sir?
No, I'm the landlord.
Okay. Here's what has to happen. The owner of the premises is actually a corporation, so you have to be represented by an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We did not know
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjourn. I'm going to indicate that plaintiff needs an attorney. Okay. I'll adjourn this out for 2 weeks. I'm going to adjourn it out to May 8th.
Okay.
At 2026 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person proceeding for both of you. All right.
Okay.
Make sure, sir, you get an attorney because I can't let you proceed without one.
All right.
And then, ma'am, you'll need to be there on.
This courtroom wasn't loud, but it was real. One by one, people stood before the judge, each carrying the same problem, falling behind on rent. But what made this moment different was the judge himself. Instead of rushing decisions, he asked questions, real questions. How much can you pay? When can you pay it? Have you tried getting help? And slowly the truth came out. Job losses, medical bills, delayed payments, people trying, but still falling behind. Instead of instantly removing them, the judge did something unexpected. He gave them a plan, deadlines, guidance, even phone numbers for help programs. Because this wasn't just about money. It was about people trying to survive. Still, the warning was clear. This is your chance. Don't waste it. So, what do you think? Should judges be strict, or should they try to understand people's situations first?